Hello, good morning, good evening, and good night. Noon Eastern here, Thursday, April 16th for you. Another action packed up to speed live for you today. You've asked a lot of questions over the course of a few weeks now, and we're getting those in through our live at Verizon.com mailbox. You can keep sending them there, as well as Christy's Ask Christy mailbox that we have out there for folks. So we want to use today's episode to answer a lot of those questions that continue to come up so we can get some clarification on things and just so people are in the know. One piece that I want to start with, though, some business news this morning that we'll go to Hans for. We announced we entered into an agreement to acquire the BlueJeans network. BlueJeans is a trusted enterprise-grade video conferencing and event platform that serves some of the world's largest brands as well as small businesses. Hans, I saw you on CNBC and Yahoo Finance this morning talking about that. Why do you think this is the right move, especially in the circumstances that we have now? And then also a general update from you to get us started here today.
Hey, good morning, Jeremy, and good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, V-teamers. Great to be back on the show today. I was absent yesterday for certain reasons. Let's start with BlueJeans. As I've said all the time, the management team and our organization are actually working in two ways here. We have the crisis management that is so important to take care of our safety and health for our employees and seeing that we're doing the right things for society. And that's Christy and her team is doing a terrific job on that. At the same time, we want to work business as usual. And this is business as usual for us. I can only tell you that we started to talk to BlueJeans almost a year ago as a good add-on to our portfolio for video conferencing. That video conferencing system is enterprise grade. They are serving 15,000 customers. And of course, we see that as a great addition. And so it was a great addition for our Verizon Business Group portfolio, because that's where it's going to reside, because they are offering this to our customers, and our customers are doing this digital transformation every day and actually adding in video conferencing into it. And of course, with what's happening in today's world with this pandemic and all of that, this is coming even more, of course, importance and for our customers. So that's one of the reasons. The other is that we also said we want to invest in our Verizon Business Group because we think that's a great opportunity there. Thirdly, we see that video is going to be an important piece of our 5G offering in the future, because with that low latency, the processing at the edge and all of that, video will be important. So that's another reason why this is the right thing to do. And finally, all our customer groups will benefit of this BlueJeans acquisition. The Verizon Media Group is very much into video. The consumer group will probably see opportunity as well here. And we as a corporation will, of course, start using BlueJeans as well. So there's many, many good reasons why we're doing it, and it fits straight on our strategy. So first of all, I want to welcome all the employees from BlueJeans. Some might even be on this call today. So most welcome to the Verizon and Forward Together, which is our tagline for these days. So welcome. So that's the reason on BlueJeans, and of course it's also showing that we as a corporation can actually handle both the crisis and doing daily business. And I can only refer, I've been on some media interviews today, but I'm also attending the 5G governance today, where we basically run through everything we're doing in 5G. And it's just important to understand that we just need to do both of them. Quickly then, just an update on the employee side. I have to say so much positive feedback on our way that we are innovating in the field with the virtual installations and supporting customers. It's just amazing, but to also see that our frontline in the stores are continuing to do innovation and actually can serve customers, and that's so important for us. On the network side, we had a network release out yesterday. Interesting to see that from the baseline where everything went up crazy, like 110% on gaming, VPN and all of that, week over week, we see very little movements right now. Actually, it was a little bit down in some areas. The only unique thing we saw this week was that on Easter Sunday, we were up 35% on video conferencing. That tells me that people was doing Easter or celebrating the holiday in another way. They were actually seeing that they were doing video conferencing. So that's on the network. So the network and the team is doing great work together with IT to keep this up as we're moving. And it's an exciting day, of course, inviting the BlueJeans team. It's going to take some time to make it through the final approvals, but that's probably not more than 30, 60 days. So great. Welcome all BlueJeans friends.
Yes, welcome to those folks. And that is Hans Vestberg, our chairman and CEO there. I want to introduce him properly to our new friends and our new teammates. Now I want to go over to Christy Pambianchi, who is our HR leader for the company. Got to get back into the form of introducing you guys to our new folks. Christy, anything you want to add about that team joining us today?
I would just like to extend my personal welcome to all of the employees of BlueJeans, to the Verizon family. We're really excited to have you on board with us, and we're really looking forward to the work we'll do over the integration to make sure we can bring all the awesome capabilities of BlueJeans and all the talents that they have into the V-Team family, and continue to delight all the customers that we have with this new capability and platform. So for any of those watching on Twitter, please help me welcome our BlueJeans colleagues.
Yeah, thanks so much for that, Christy. So let's jump right into some questions now. I've got questions lined up for both Christy and Hans. Hans, I want to start with you. You mentioned you weren't able to join us yesterday. You had a meeting with President Trump and some other business leaders. Carmen in Lake Mary wants to know if you could share a little bit about that conversation and when will we get back to normal and open up the economy as the president's been talking about?
I think the call was very much focused on opening the economy, and I think that all CEOs that was on the call that I attended, everyone wants to open the economy as soon as possible, but all also understand that the safety and health of the citizen or the employees of the corporation is the most important, and steps has to be taken there. And that was the conversation. There was a lot of sharing between the CEOs, what they are doing. In our case, of course, we have to say that we are open because many of our frontline employees are still working to keep up the networks. We have basically never closed down, even though we told the new rules how we work. And then, of course, we have 115,000 employees working from home. So that was a lot of discussion. And then, of course, discussion about what's going to be needed for getting the economy back. And also some pharmaceutical CEOs was on the call talking about vaccine, etc. So it was more about the sharing, what we're doing. And the private sector really understands that we play a vital role to get the economy back and start this country again when it's the right time, given that the first priority is the health and safety of the citizens and the employees. So that was a short summary of a fairly long call.
Good, Hans. Thank you for that. Christy, along those same lines, a lot of questions about what our future looks like when we return. I know we keep saying we are open for business. Let's make it clear. We got people out there working day in and day out right now, doing things around the clock. But people want to know, what are we going to do for social distancing? What about open seating? Less folks in the office. What do all of those things mean for us?
Great questions, Jeremy. And I agree. That's top of mind for the V-Teamers. And I also think for society in general. So I think for us to remember, yes, we have 115,000 V-Teamers doing their jobs from home. We've talked about the fact that we've done the crisis response phase. We sustain all the pieces of that going forward. Now we're in this modified, adjusted operational state, and we're working on getting all of our business as usual KPIs and metrics to our normal business standards so that this becomes an effective way of operating for us. And then finally, we're beginning to plan for, as various governments of the world and jurisdictions relax their emergency state orders and their shelter-in-place orders, and they seek to reopen society, what does that look like for us, and how do we consider modifying the way we're running right now? I think it's safe to say there's a lot still evolving, and we heard that from Hans. And so we know top of mind for our employees will be, how do we create, if we decide to return to the offices, how do we create safe workspace? And how, while we're still navigating in certain countries, constraints on testing kits, constraints on testing supply, we don't have a vaccine. I think for us, we're really concentrating on how do we operate in this state effectively and hit all those metrics, because that future state is still a little undefined. And we're doing work as a VLC as we speak to really begin to put parameters around what that will look like for us. But I would say one thing I can say is things won't just flip like a light switch back onto the way they were before for all the health reasons that I stated.
Got it. Good to know. And folks, appreciate all those questions. Just want to make sure we get them all. You mentioned, a kind of common thread that we're continuing to work. Some of our retail solution specialists and folks who work out there in retail right now, we've done what's called a redeployment. And so they're doing some other things for the business right now, still helping customers. So I want to play a video of some of our folks who have gone through training and have actually taken some of their first calls as telesales reps now. Let's go and roll that.
The whole past month has been a bit of a whirlwind, and when I found out the company was looking into redeployment options and giving us the option to do our jobs from home, it was a big relief.
At first, we thought, how could all of us be working from home? Like, how would this be possible? There's so many employees. But then when it kind of came out and they said, we'd have the option, you could do telesales, you could do customer service, I thought, okay. Right off the bat, I knew I wanted to do telesales. I wanted to kind of get back into the rhythm of what I did before, and I'm missing it so much.
We were assured that the redeployment would be something that we were used to doing. I guess that raised my comfort level of knowing that I would be able to do something that I already know how to do.
Really, honestly, I looked at it as no matter where I was placed, I was going to take that as an opportunity to learn. Right now, I'm able to get the best on-the-job experience and not have to worry about, where my retail job is at the moment.
Morning, everyone. Just a quick tour of my new workstation, my new equipment here, and I am currently selling from my couch with a decent view.
They sent us a laptop, a mouse, headset for taking the calls, Ethernet cable.
After just a couple days of setting up the computer and doing training, you're pretty much ready to go on the calls.
The training was definitely put together in a way that valued our skills and then even built on them. I was able to, in 7 hours, have a relatively strong working knowledge of how to receive the calls, how to route the calls, and how to do the different things that we need to do, and do it all remotely.
There's going to be growing pains. There's going to be, trial and error, and we'll figure it out as we go. But as far as selling and offering the right solutions for customers, that's just something we do every day. The identity of our job is pretty much the same. We're just working with different tools.
I mean, at the end of the day, whether you're talking to a customer on the phone or you're front-facing a customer, you're still that same person.
What we do in the stores, we are customer service, we're telesales, we are tech support. We're everything wrapped up into one. So it just makes sense to put us in these roles. It's awesome for us to kind of see a different place in the business, but it's also amazing for our business to be able to take advantage of these employees that they've, kind of cross-trained, and now we can help them in a different way.
Thank you for calling Verizon Wireless. My name's Danielle. With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking to?
I'm extremely excited to get back into making phone calls. Like, I want to get in there and get deployed and be able to help these people.
A month ago, I would have never imagined myself in this position. It is exciting. It's emotional. Like I said, I can't undersell just how valuable I feel.
I am thrilled to get back to doing something close to what I'm used to doing.
It's almost like starting a brand new job with keeping the same job. So there's a bit of nerves, a bit of butterflies, and hopefully it's a quick adjustment, and we'll be, working like we've been doing this for years in no time.
Good reflections there from the team. I think I recognize Jim from one of my nearby stores. Always helpful when I go in there. And I think back to my days as a customer service rep when I started with the company, and those skills you learn, it's universal. You're helping the customer, making things happen for them. So that's good to see. I want to jump into some more questions. Hans, this one is coming your way. As a business, and I saw you talking about that this morning as well. As a business, how is Verizon doing and holding up right now?
I think that, first of all, we are running the company in this duality, and I think that's so important. We don't know how long we will have this type of situation, and we want to come out stronger as a company. and even more proud of the company when this is all over. So that I think is so important. So we're holding up well. As I said, today I spent a couple of hours on the 5G and fiber projects, which are extremely strategic to the company. And I can tell you the innovation and the drive I see in the teams continuing to do it. They work in different places. Everyone is on a video conference instead of in a big conference room, but they are doing it anyhow. So I think we're holding up well. And I think that many, as we heard on this clip from, which was just amazing to see how our employees are pivoting, doing new things and just liking it. And I see that across the company. So we're holding up well. And when it comes to how we're performing financially and so on, you're going to have a great opportunity next week, because we're going to have the earnings call, and because that's nothing that we compromise on. So tune in for the earnings call next week. It's going to be, of course, much more details of how we're doing financially and what we're seeing out there. So I just encourage you to be there, and Jeremy is going to be there probably as well.
Yep, I have plans next Friday at noon. Imagine that. We'll be bringing in other members of the leadership team to bring you the 1Q results webcast remotely, as we've done on Up to Speed now for, I think this is day 24, and that'll be next Friday at noon. So Hans, thanks for that. Christy, I want to jump over to you for this next question. It's one that keeps coming up a lot. Mental health. How do we all keep ourselves well during this time? And if people do need assistance, where can they go for those resources?
Thanks. That's a great question. And we know this is on a lot of employees' minds. And so a couple of things I would offer. First, on our Learning Portal 2.0, which all employees can access, I want to just highlight that we've built out and continue to add content around mental health and wellness, and really putting a curriculum together there. So people should go in and check, and we'll keep reminding on the COVID webpage when there's new things in there. So I think that's a really great source for people. And then we have our employee assistance program, which can be also accessed online. And through the EAP, you can understand if there's workshops and other self-help ideas that are there. There's also a phone number, and you can call and talk to an EAP representative who can then further connect you or give you direction to support services that may be helpful to you for whichever dimension of employee assistance you're looking for, whether that's personally for you, for a family member, for grieving, for depression, for other mental health ailments and challenges that people are facing in this very difficult time. And then finally, we have Life Health Online. This is our telemedicine provider, and the telemedicine provider, Life Health, has both a psychology and a psychiatric practice. So employees can go on there. You can actually find a practitioner, and you can schedule appointments just like you would with an on-premise visit, and you can do that via telemedicine. And this has been found across the psychology and psychiatric medical delivery space to be a really effective way to reach a lot of people, even before the COVID crisis. So those are just a couple of suggestions for anybody that's out there thinking about wanting to get some more support.
Good. Christy, thank you for that. I want to stick with you, Christy, for this next question. It seems to be one of the most asked that comes up about vacation. Will we be extending the accrual beyond what's already been announced?
We know this is on a lot of V-Teamers' minds, and it's really tied to what's going on with how we're operating the business and around the world, where we have governments that have states of emergency and shelter-in-place provisions. So right now we've extended our carryover cap to 175%. And we've said we're going to operate like this till the end of April. And Hans and the VLC are coming together to really understand what we think we're going to do beyond April. And in that process, we'll also revisit any of the policies we have tied to our COVID response. So right now, we don't have any active plans to change that, but I would just say the situation is constantly changing.
Good. And like you mentioned, the resource page, all of those available for folks externally. You can just go to InsideVerizon.com. We also have the Inside Verizon app that folks can download through the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store as a place where they can stay in the know as to what's going on there. Hans, question for you on this side. Have we considered using any of our technology for testing?
Any of our technology for testing. So What do you mean? I use all the technology we have. I'm on Fios, I'm on our 4G network. I use everything we have, the Wi-Fi routers and everything.
I guess some of the question was around like, hey, in hospitals or for first responders, what are we doing to maybe equip them with technology that they could use to help with testing? Sorry about that.
Okay. Those testing. Yeah, no. Our teams are extremely close to all the hospitals and first responders and emergency operations centers that are set up by the federal government. What we are doing, we're supporting them with connectivity, sometimes devices, MiFis, etc., in order to get them up running. So yes, definitely, Tammy and her team is doing a great job to see that we are supporting all those efforts, because some of these places that are set up, that I think Andres Irlando talked about that when he was up to speed, that many of these places, they are set up where it's a little bit outside the cities, where maybe the connectivity is not super good, and then we have fortified that. So yes, we are helping with the testing, mainly from a technology point of view. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, good to know there. Switching gears in the questions, Hans, sticking with you, and then to Christy for this. As parents, how are your families dealing with any of this? Any tips or hints of how you're making the days work?
I continue on the testing then. They're testing all the technology we have here as well, because I have one college daughter that's going to college. She's actually working from home, so she is doing everything. My son is a senior in high school, so he's doing remote learning. And my wife is here as well, trying to keep up with us. So we're using all technologies. I think that it works pretty well, to be honest. Of course, it's a new for everyone. But I think that, again, the technology is so vital for us, so we can, so my children can stay connected with their friends. So I can connect with my family in Sweden and my wife's family in Sweden. So that is important. But we're hanging in there, trying to do exercises together and watch Pay It Forward together in the evenings. So yeah, we're doing a lot of new stuff.
Good. Christy, what about for you?
Lots of change. I have 4 kids. 2 of them were in college, and their colleges have obviously been closed and suspended for the semester. And 2 here in local schools, 1 in high school and 1 in middle school. So the dining room is now the classroom for my middle school and high schooler. My college student who's studying trumpet is practicing in what was our basement family room. So that's his student. That's why you don't hear the trumpet every day. He's 3.5 stories below where I am. I'm in the top story of our house where I do the broadcast and all my work all day. And my husband's taken over the kitchen. And my other student is still working at his desk in his room. So it's, I think, a lot of adjusting. And I think we miss a lot of the social contact. I'm a really big extrovert. So I've put on a Sunday night sister social hour with my 3 sisters. We just did a Zoom birthday party for my husband's father, for granddad this week. And so I think, much like all the V-teamers, finding fun ways to stay connected to our families and our friends and helping our kids do that.
Yeah, a lot of good reminders there for folks who may not have kids and you may be living on your own. I'm gonna bump up my daily reminder, reach out to those you know and love, and let them know that you know and love about them. So 2 more questions for you, Christy. A lot of feedback on the Verizon gear you're wearing every day, as well as Hans. Folks want to know, where can they pick that up? I think I had a question from Jerome come in about that. Where can they get some of that?
So great news. There's gonna be an online store where employees can buy these shirts, and they'll be at a discount, and we're really excited about that. And so more to come on where people can get the shirts and V-Team gear that we've been wearing. There's an online store, and a portion of the proceeds, if you were to purchase it, will go to our V2V fund. So for anybody that does so, I just want to thank you in advance, because the V2V fund is so important for our Verizon employees.
Certainly is. And for those folks watching, we'll have the link to that site for you today on Inside Verizon. And one final thing with you, Christy, before Hans wraps up. I know we've got some V-teamers out there who have medical backgrounds. How are we supporting them, and how are they doing all of this at this point?
Thanks so much. We've got, a number of jurisdictions have actually put out an ask for people that are certified in the medical field, whether it's as an EMT, as a nurse, as a doctor, a variety of medical professions. and asked, if you're out there, can you please come work for us and volunteer your time to help? So we're putting out and communicating today a new leave where if we have any of our V Team employees that qualify to those requests from the governments to come help and work, we will support you with a paid leave so you could go serve in the medical community helping society fight the coronavirus. So that's new and out there today on the webpage.
Christy, thanks for that, and thanks to all of our folks who, you hear these stories. They're working full time during the day, and they may be a volunteer firefighter, paramedic, or auxiliary police officer in the evening. So thank you to those folks. Hans, no more questions for you from me at this point, but do want to go to you for our final wrap up of the day, please, sir.
Couple of quick things. I think that I feel that is important to remind all about the safety and health sort of rules we have internally in the company, but also as individuals. Don't forget that we have this pandemic is extremely tough, and many people are suffering, and I just want us to be extremely careful. That I think is so important. Secondly, I want to thank all the V-teamers for the work you're doing, being able to have this company open and actually operating almost as normal at the same time, keeping all the safety and health issues at bay. So thank you very much for that. And ultimately, I think we made a proof point today that we continue as a company acquiring BlueJeans, which is the enterprise grade video conferencing system, which is going to be a great addition to us. And we welcome all those employees today, even though it's special times. And I know that Tammy has been on a BlueJeans conference with all their employees and talking to them, of course. So I welcome all of those, and I thank all the V-teamers for all the great work you're doing. And I'll see you very soon. And remember, it's paid forward tonight. You know, I steal the thunder sometimes from Jeremy. You know that. I like that because he was prepared to say that. But as I steal it, you heard it first from me. Tonight is Luke Bryan. He's a very famous country singer. So you can tune into that. Okay, Jeremy, let's see what you have for summary.
Yes, I've got one better than Luke Bryan for you, but I expect to hear you sing a few bars tomorrow for us, Hans, when we come back here live. I want to start out with this thank you note that one of our younger customers left us in Newton, Massachusetts. Dear workers, thank you for giving our internet back. And I think you guys should get all of my credit, and I love your ladder truck. Now I can play video games. Dad added schoolwork as well. From Vanden, a child there in Newton, Massachusetts. How cool is that? They had some issues there, and the team was able to rewire the neighborhood to get them back up. A couple other things worth mentioning. Just announced earlier today for a pre-order on Verizon, VerizonWireless.com. It is the Care smartwatch, the wearable that provides safety and well-being for seniors, really delivering a peace of mind that all families could use right now to keep folks connected while giving their loved ones, like I said, that peace of mind. And then tomorrow we have an extended Up to Speed Live after the 12 to 12:30. Guru from Verizon Media will be joining us with special guest Dr. Kavita Patel, answering some of your questions on the medical side about the COVID-19 pandemic. You've sent a lot of good questions in. Keep those coming to us live at Verizon.com. And then don't forget, this weekend, set your calendars. It's a great day to watch One World Together at home, courtesy of Global Citizen and supporting the World Health Organization. A lot of big names part of the show this weekend to do some good to bring us all together. And like Hans said, even though he took it from me, Pay It Forward live tonight with country superstar Luke Bryan. That starts at 8 p.m. You can tune in to Twitter, Twitch, FiOS Channel 501, Yahoo, and Facebook. A lot of ways you can watch that, so no excuses if you don't do that tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So we covered a lot of ground today. I appreciate all of the questions, and I appreciate Hans and Christy taking the time to answer those. We'll be back with you again tomorrow at noon. Till next time, you're up to speed.